Long time ago, in the heart of a small peaceful village wrapped in hills and whisper of wind, two children were born just months apart, Mudupe and Dakpo. They were neighbors, almost siblings in the eyes of the elders, but anyone paying attention could see something else. Something tender. They grew up barefoot in the red dust, chasing kites made from banana leaves, and every morning they fetched water from the stream. Two small buckets, two small shadows, stretching side by side. Dakpo, even as a boy, was gentle. He never raised his voice. He was the kind of a child who stopped to help a sick goat. He hung around Mudupe like a little chicken, did so many things for her without a second thought. Mudupe, meanwhile, was wild in spirit. She climbed mango trees higher than boys. She always chased Dakpo through the yam field, and always she looked back to make sure Dakpo was keeping up. Their friendship had rituals. Every market day, Dakpo brought her roasted groundnuts in a brown paper. Every school exam, Modupe braid a tiny black thread around his waist for good luck, she said, even though he was always first in the class. Every harmattan, they share a scarf between them, holding opposite ends, laughing as they walk through the dust and cold. They were the kind of pair that grew into each other's lives like roots from soil unseen and unshakable. When Modupe's mother passed away during a harsh planting season, Dakpo didn't cry. He didn't talk. He just showed up every day after school. He brought her warm food wrapped in clothes, sat beside her without saying much. And sometimes, when she was ready, he'd tell her stories he made up on the spot about queens who turned into birds and flew away but always came back. And when Dakpo broke his arm falling from a mango tree, trying to impress her. No doubt, Modupe sat beside him under the moonlight, grounding her with her small finger, repeating her grandmother prayers like she believed the prayer could stitch his bones. They were never lovers, not in words, not in touch, but the way Dakpo looked at Modupe when she wasn't watching. That was a kind of love louder than any declaration. And Modupe, she never asked what they were. She didn't need to. She believed in quiet, certain ties. Even everyone in the village did. Just give them time, they said. Modupe and Dapo will marry one day. It's already written. Even the old woman who sold puff puff at the corner kept a pair of gold earrings aside for Modupe's bride price day. And maybe if life had stayed still, they would have married. However, time has its own plans, and time doesn't always wait for words. One day, Dakpo received a letter, a job offer in the city. His father was happy and proud. He pressed the envelope into his hands and said, "Go make something out of yourself." Dakpo went to her house to tell her the good news. Modupe, Dakpo said, "I got a job offer in the city." She was happy for him because it meant growth for them. She also cried because she won't be able to see him like before again. However, she can't stop him from leaving. On the day Dakpo left, she hugged him so tight. He left with the sunrise. Modupe watched from her doorway, arms crossed tightly against her chest, her lips trembling with everything she didn't see. Dakpo gave her a smile of hope and his last words, "I will be back." After she heard that words, she felt relieved and smiled a soft smile of hope. That was life in the city. The city was nothing like the village, full of life, traffic horns, blinking lights, glass buildings that reached the cloud. Dapo arrived to the city with wide eyes, carrying dreams folded neatly in the back pockets of his pressed trouser. When Dapo got to the city, the distance began. Mudupe would stare at her phone like someone waiting for urgent alert. At first, Dapo will call Modupe every weekend and ask, "How are you doing? And how is everyone in the village?" And she will tell him everything about a married man and a married woman that got caught having an affair, and how the price of the roasted groundnut he used to buy for her went up. And he will laugh and tell her about the city business and how he woke up every early for work and the stress. After their chats, she feel relieved again. With time, fewer message and calls, then short ones, eventually silent. The airtime stopped coming and good morning message disappeared. The city swallowed Dapo. Bright lights, deadlines, and ambition. He meant to write, he meant to call, but the days were busy. Dapo worked hard, long hours, late nights. He rose up quickly. He became the youngest regional manager at a growing tech firm. He moved into a three-bedroom apartment with white floors and cold air condition that felt nothing like the warm wind of the village. Back in the village, the woman that sold puff puff called Modupe one evening. She asked, "Hope you and Dapo still call each other." Modupe didn't say anything, but her action said it loud and clear. Then the woman continued, "That means you have to move on." However, Modupe still believed in her heart that the boy who used to brought her roasted groundnuts from the market wrapped in brown paper would return and say, "Let's continue from where we stopped." So she waited, and while she waited, Modupe stayed, watch over her father's farm, teaching at a local school. She will smile at neighbors, laugh at village dance, but behind her eyes was a room no one could enter, where she kept Dapo. And not that men did not come. They came for her, however. She always turned them down, giving them different type of excuse, like she is not ready to tie herself with someone else, that she needs some time to put some things in place. But deep down her heart, no space for any one of them. Back in the city, and then there was a woman named Kemi. She was beautiful, shining, the kind of a woman who know how to walk into a room like she holds the hair. She was from the city, born and brought up with the city life. Daughter of a university professor, educated. At first, she captivated Dapo. She spoke fast. She laughed at his village stories like they were fairy tales. She called him so grounded and said she admired his clarity. And Dapo believed her, and he thought he had found something real. Then, 7 years later, word spread like wildfire. Dapo is coming back. He is getting married. The whole village shouted with excitement. The boy who had left years ago was returning as a man, successful, well dressed, bringing a woman from the city with manicured nails and expensive perfume. When Modupe heard the news, she didn't believe it. How is that even possible? My own Dagbo is bringing another woman as his wife? That must be a lie. The day Dagbo and his wife Kemi arrived, Modupe ran to Dagbo's compound. Modupe stood when the car arrived. Dagbo stepped out, older, sharper, but still him. Their eyes met just for a second. Dagbo, Modupe, they called each other at the same time. Then she saw her, his bride. The word titled, Modupe fainted. She was rushed back to her house. She woke hours later on a mat, the village nurse beside her. No one spoke of it, but everyone knew, and the wedding was the next day. Music playing louder from a distance, people dancing, however, not from Mudupe. She stayed in her room, windows shut, hearts broken, not by betrayal, but by the years she waited for words that never came. Mudupe was emotionally down. She didn't eat for days, locked herself up, and refused to see anyone. Dapo came to her house after his wedding. He knocked at her door. She refused to open the door for him until when he said, "Open the door, I know you are in. There is something I need to tell you." Then she opened the door slowly, eyes red and swell up from crying. "Modupe," he said, "I didn't mean to make you cry. I didn't mean to make you sad. I I thought we were just friends." "Friends, you said?" She cut him off. "I waited for you every day. That one day you will finally come back to me. And did you know how many men I turned away all because of you?" Dapo replied, "I am very sorry. I didn't know you turned all the men away all because of me. I'm here to say I'm sorry." "You are sorry?" she asked. "Your sorry is nothing to me right now. Your sorry cannot bring what I've lost." Then she shut the door at his face and went back inside. Modupe carried the weight of betrayal around like a woman hawking pepper, and whenever she come out of her room, she walked like a ghost. One day, she was walking on the road. She almost fell into the pit until one woman held her from behind and shouted, "Are you blind? Can't you see where you are going to? You almost fell into the pit." That was when she came back to her senses. "I'm sorry, ma." Modupe bending her head over and over again, telling the woman that she's sorry, as if she had offended her before. Then the woman looked at her. "You are Modupe, right?" she asked. She held her and walked her back to her house. "My dear," the woman said, "I heard everything that happened. And this is not the end of everything. This is not the end of the world. You almost killed yourself all because of a man who had married another woman and he is enjoying his home. Please, my daughter, move on. You will meet someone better than him." After the woman left, the woman wept, running on her head over and over again. Then she decided to move on. She went back to the local school where she teach. Time moved again. Months passed. Modupe met a man named Tunde, a quiet man, kind-hearted, a widower who came to the village to start over. He wasn't Dapo. He didn't try to be. He simply saw her, listened to her. He laughed at her dry jokes in the class, brought her white flowers instead of words. Months later, they married under the same tree where Dapo wedded his wife, not with fireworks, but with peace. Modupe smiled again, truly again. Back in the city, soon the crack began. Kemi didn't cook, not because she didn't know how to, but because she saw it as below her. She didn't clean. "That is what housekeepers are for," she said. "Dapo will be the one to wake up early, cook, clean the house, serve her before going to work. Sometimes she will complain the pepper is too much. Sometimes the salt is not enough." She didn't care for the small things like warm soup on a sick day, quiet prayer before bed, sitting outside to watch the rain fall. When they visited during the holidays, she didn't greet his parents with the respect he was raised on. He hated the village. She turned up her nose at the food, complained about the dust, refused to bathe from the bucket in Dapo's childhood home. Worst still, she mocked it. One evening, she said with a laugh, I still don't understand how people grew up without a washing machine, no electricity, no good food. Were you watching your clothes in the river like cartoons? It hit Dapo at the right place. It pains, but Dapo said nothing. He thought love grew in silence, just like before. But this silence was different. It was cold and heavy, not full of meanings, but of distance. He tried. Oh, he tried. He brought her flowers, took her on dates, bought her a car. He made sacrifice, thinking this is what life is about. Marriage is work. Be patient, but deep inside, he began to long for home, not just the village, but Modupe. One night, he found an old notebook while organizing his desk. In it was a single thread, black and old, one of the lock thread Modupe used to tie around his waist back in school. He sat down slowly, held the thread in his palm, and for the first time in years, he cried. Dapo was successful, yes, but in the quiet of his elegant home, Dapo realized something painful. He had married a woman who admired his hard work, but not his soul. And he left the one who saw him before the title, before the car, before the city lights. Thank you for watching this video. Moral lesson. Some people are meant to stay. Some learn too late what staying meant. And some find love the second time around. Kindly share your thoughts with me in the comment section. What lesson did you learn from this story? Share this story with your loved ones. And please subscribe if you've not subscribed till I bring another story your way. Bye.